Okay, just got my Edelbrock Carburetor for my 68 Camaro, my bundle of joy, and this is how it came from the factory. The choke is dialed up, pretty high. Choke plates closed all the way. This is the idle adjustment screw right here. And right down here there's another screw. This is the choke idle adjustment screw. Of course, that choke goes up on this thing. That is the choke. Give it gas. It comes off, and then it opens up. So, for example, that's how it is when it's hot and it's warmed up. And you come back and the engine's got cold. Give it a little bit of gas, bam, drops that back down, resets. That's your choke idle speed screw right there. Up here in front is your normal up to temperature idle speed. So I got to put my dual feed fuel line on. Right. So I got the plug on this one. This one, remember, is for the vacuum advance distributor PCV valve. Don't adjust anything out of the box. You just got your Edelbrock choke. It's already set, like right here. This is closed like it should be, and maybe it should be actually, a little bit of gap in it, but don't, leave it alone right now until you run it and know what it's doing. No need to adjust anything. Factory preset it like this. I'm gonna leave it alone, see how it does after I warm it up. I got the dual bowl fuel line hooked up. So let's go put it on. (1968) Camaro. Thousands of dollars to get this thing going. This is my third carburetor, actually. I did a video on CFM's vacuum volumetric efficiency. Anyway, I'm putting this new carburetor on. I want to point this out. Square bore, by the way. I'm going to use the old gasket. It doesn't seem to be in too much trouble. When you put these studs in on your intake, do it so that they stay just act like forever. And the way I did that is I put the nut on and I double nutted it, torqued the two nuts down together, and then bammed it right into the intake real hard. Yes, I did use the anti-seize on the threads since it's aluminum intake, but put these in like double hard, because when you're taking it off and working with the carburetor, you don't want the whole stud coming out. So there we have the carburetor. The nuts are on. Got a little washer underneath. All four corners have exactly the same thing, and that is important. There is a torque amount that you're supposed to use. What I like to think about is it needs to be snug but not tight. Head bolts, stuff like that, yeah, they need to be tight, not just snug. Use your head, don't over tighten anything. They've got these, I don't know if you can see it, right on this flange right here. Right here, it's got these little support things. That is so this doesn't snap off, break, or fracture. So if you tighten it too tight and there's a little bit of a bow from here to that bolt, and then the bow, this says no, and then bam, you got a crack right there. There's not much holding it from cracking. Not that it will, and I don't want you something to worry about, but just get it good and snug and square. Make sure it's not stuck on one side. That's a two-hand operation. I'll do that in a minute. PCV valve hooks right back on. The beautifier right here. The vacuum advance right there. I think the beautifier is on down there a little bit. I'll hook the fuel line up and just plug it right in there in a minute. And then the throttle linkage will have to go in these two little things, and then well, I've already got another plug on it. When installing the electric choke on this new carburetor, I got to make sure I have the right electrical connections for my choke. This ground wire right here, I got the ground wire running to this ground bolt on my shielded plug wires, make there's no feedback to the radio, and usually use it on a fiberglass Corvette, but they look good, all braided, so I got them. Anyway, that is grounded to the chassis right here, so I know when I ground from the electric choke right to here that it's grounded to the chassis. Make sure the chassis is grounded to the engine, which it is way back down there, and that's because the battery is grounded to the engine. So everything, the car, the motor, the choke, everything is grounded correctly. In doing the positive side of the choke, you need keyed power only. When the key's on, you want this to be hot. And I've already hooked it up, but I just want to show you. I got my positive lead in my keyed hot power, and I just put the negative lead just on the sheathing of my plug wire. We'll go over here, put the voltmeter on VDC, volts, direct current, and I'm at the right range, and let's turn it on and see what we get. Working on a 1968 Camaro, and we have 11.7. Turn it off, and we have 0. So we have a good keyed hot voltage to our electric choke. So let me go over the checklist. Got my plug in the back of the carburetor. Got my dual feeds on, and they're torqued down. Got my throttle linkage on there. I could talk in detail about that for a while. Make sure it's all the way forward, and whenever you push the gas pedal, not when you do this by your hand, but when you go in there and push the gas pedal, make sure the secondaries open up all the way. You can do it with your hand, but sometimes you get in there and you don't. That's what happened on the last one. Important to note here, see where the choke plate is? It's got a very thin little dime opening in it. It's cold. I mean, for real, it's not cold. In human terms, it's 73 degrees, 75 degrees. So, 68 Camaro. My advance, my fuel line's tight, choke's hot, and the only thing it doesn't have is gas. So unlike a Rochester where you can fill up the front tube and get right into your float bowl, you can't do that on the Edelbrock. So you got to use fuel, that starter fluid. Spray some in there. I'm gonna go get it. Put the starting fluid in it. Spray some starting fluid in there, turn the key, and it'll fire right up. It won't stay running until the float bowl gets full. I'm so excited. Let's see what it'll do. what the choke does is it eliminates a little bit more air, so you get more fuel going in there. Well, my eyes are running. It's a little foggy in here, and it's running really rich. So I'll have to go outside and finish this test out. And we'll put the charger on it overnight, and see you in the morning.